Well, the time is just gone 17 minutes past 8 as we kick off this morning, taking a look at what is taking place in Niger. And we've heard about a burst of heavy gunfire explosions that erupted yesterday near the international airport in Niger's capital. And we're going across now to be joined by the lecturer at the Department of Political Science and International Relations at the University of Abuja, Dr. Abdulrahman Abu Hasimu. Dr. Abdulrahman, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, and we appreciate your time.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me.
Yes, let's just, before we get into specifics, I'm just trying to understand, in terms of this gunfire, and clearly it is a concern, and just to understand some background and to put this into context, just your reading into what is taking place in Niger at the moment.
Well, as we all know, Niger is at a crossroad. Niger is at a crossroad not because the military junta doesn't know what it is doing. Niger is at a crossroad because the old colonial masters really wanted to continue to milk Niger. We all know that the explanation for the backwardness in Niger was pinned on poverty. But later discoveries showed that it was not as if Niger was poor all along. It was as a result of the colonial relationship that is existing between Niger and France that has been fueling Niger's poverty to the extent that the discovery of oil and uranium, including other mineral resources that are globally needed for global manufacturing of modern technological equipment, including fighter jets, including bombs, could not really get the people of Niger out of poverty until the current junta came to power. And in terms of growth, Niger recorded unprecedented 6.7% growth in the GDP. So you could see that Niger is on the trajectory of growth, but again, France will not let go, the old guards will not let go, and then apart from the sanction that is meant to destabilize Niger and slow down growth and development, there is brutal movement of subversion. So the gunfire may not be unconnected with the determination to subvert the military junta so that the people will revolt against the military junta, and then they will feel that their poverty, lack of development is as a result of the military junta, which is not it. It is as a result of the sabotage and sanctions that are meant to curtail whatever progress the military junta could make.
Yes, but also, Dr. Abdulrahman, obviously we see the French, we see the colonial legacy actually playing out in Niger. We've seen similar, when one looks at Burkina Faso, when one looks at Mali as well. So it is clear that, the legacy of colonialism is actually playing out. But once again, we see the term jihadists being used as well. Just your reading into the situation as far as, this whole thing being blamed on jihadists. What are your thoughts?
See, whatever jihad that will not add value to the people is not jihad. We all are Muslims, we all understood the concept of jihad. And the Prophet ﷺ said the best of jihad is jihad nafs. Is a jihad waged within ourselves to do the good things, the righteous deed, which I think this very particular military junta are doing. I am not for the argument that it must be liberal democracy for us to develop. Every country have their own trajectory, they have their own understanding of the environment. The Chinese believe that it is dictatorship that will give them development, and they impose one-party system, and they are developing. The Rwandan government and people feel that one-party state can give them development, and they are developing. The West felt is multi-party democracy. If we feel in Africa it's military junta that can give us development, I don't want to know. I am not for form of government. I am for welfare of the people under such a government. And the jihadists, why is it that this very particular jihadists don't target Western interests, don't target the colonial apparatus of governance? If there is any thing that needed to be severe, it is the umbilical cord that is connecting African countries to their former colonial masters that has led to continuous milking. So French investment is saving Africa, American investment is saving Africa, but again, people that want to bring progress to Africa are not safe. Why do we continue to be used against ourselves? I remember when there was a dispute in America twice over who won the presidential election. One between Al Gore and Bush Jr. And Al Gore never lent himself to any power outside America to be used against the American people. The current president, Trump, had the same disagreement with Biden. He never worked against America or Biden, leveraging foreign interest and resources. Why is it that Africans continue to present themselves as mercenaries to be used against their people, to be used against their homeland? This is what truncated development in Africa for over 5 to 6 decades. You remember people like Patrice Lumumba, Samora Michel. These are fine African gentlemen that wish well for the people of Africa. But what happened? The same Africans were used to kill them. And these same Africans went to occupy power, and instead of them to develop their people, they underdeveloped their people after leaving legacies of ruin, killings, maiming, and raping of the people and the economy. So why should we continue to behave like mercenaries on hire, and that anybody can hire us to bring our country down because we want power that we are not prepared to exercise for the benefit of our people?
Dr. Abdulrahman, looking at the Sahel region, and clearly this has been a focus area, do you think what has been playing out in Burkina Faso, particularly with Captain Ibrahim Traore, is there a link, in terms of what is happening in Niger?
The truth of the matter is, anytime there is military coup in Africa, there is a deliberate attempt, not even attempt, there is a determination to sabotage such a government. And this particular sabotage is highly funded, is highly classified, and then well-oiled machinery to combat such a government. Remember, we witnessed the same thing under late General Sani Abacha. General Sani Abacha, left alone, would have brought tremendous development to Nigeria. But there was a coordinated effort to undermine that government from day one, and that government was fought from day one until the last day General Sani Abacha died. Traore is facing the same problem. The government in Mali under Goita is facing the same problem. Niger is facing the same problem. So it is not an isolated case. And you know why? Beneath every soil in Sahel lies riches. And on the surface, tremendous poverty. How do you reconcile a Mali that is tremendously endowed with gold and a Mali that the population is very poor, malnourished, and without development? How do you reconcile that? And every day, every minute, every hour, goods are leaving Mali to France and other world capitals. You come to Niger, the same thing. You come to Nigeria, the same thing. The same thing is happening in Burkina Faso. The story in Burkina Faso is that Burkina Faso is a poor country. But Traore came and showed that Burkina Faso, after all, is not poor. Burkina Faso is rich. What is happening is that the resources of Burkina Faso is not used for the benefit of the people of Burkina Faso. This is the story. And it's writing such a story from available information, apart from road reconstruction, making sure that the Burkinabe people farm what they eat and eat what they farm. He has equally built gold refinery. Now, the story of Africa is changing, whether we like it or not. If the West is sincere, why should you not antagonize the so-called democratic countries in Africa that are living in poverty, and then leave these particular governments that have the interests of their people at heart? You know the reason? If they do that, military coup will become fashionable, and because of the posturing of the military leaders, the domino effect would pull Nigerians towards self-reliance without having to kowtow to their former colonial masters. And they don't like it because, as what Rodney had showed, our development is their underdevelopment, their development is our underdevelopment. And they don't want anybody that will come and sever that very particular hose with which they are milking us dry. So if you come to reposition your country and make sure that you use the resources of your country for the benefit of the people, you're an enemy. But if you open your national treasury to the Western world, you are a friend. Just the way Nigeria is currently doing by handing over our revenue collection to France. Then Tinubu's government will be praised as one of the friendly government that has assisted to secure the interests of France. Today, we have a working group in Nigeria that is comprising Nigerians and Americans. I bet you it's not about providing Nigeria security. It's not about assisting to fight. That is just an alibi. The fundamental reason is the protection of the interests of America in Nigeria. So I don't know why the West feel entitled to our resources, and that it is their birthright, and they have to take it either by force or through subterfuge. Are we doing the same thing to them? Or is it because most of our African leaders don't even know what they are doing? I think it's high time as Africans we told ourselves the truth that the resources for Africa is for Africans. And if you want our resources, come to the table, let us talk. If it is money we are bringing, bring in money, and then you buy. Or if we're going to do a sort of trade by barter, we do that. But that all you need is a pliant leader that will not raise a voice. And one country can just come and open our treasury and take our money or take our gold or take our tantalite or whatever. It's over. And we must be able to stand on our feet to say the resources of Africans are for Africans. If you need it, come and pay for it. You don't have to kill us before you take our resources.
Absolutely, but also Dr. Abdulrahman, for someone like yourself, and obviously, your specialty is political science, it's international relations as well. When we see what has happened in Venezuela with regards to Nicolas Maduro as well, the control of Venezuela's finances as well, and it does appear as if the same approach is being used in Africa, and I know Nigeria has been under the focus as well. But also, when one looks at it from the West perspective, it is actually imploding from within, and we've seen recent developments. We've seen what has happened: the U.S. dollar weakening against major currencies right across the entire world. Europe is actually going down as well. So, as Africans, as you correctly pointed out as well, we need to be on our guard because, the Western countries, obviously, you can see now China playing a lot more of an influential role. We've seen even Europe running to China at this point in time. And I think a lot of this actually stems from the United States of America, and particularly with Donald Trump and his second term of office.
Yeah, I think we have to thank President Trump. He's doing a very good job. America is a declining empire. And the mistakes declining empire usually make is thinking that when they flex their muscles in Moscow, a lot of countries strategically, countries will kowtow to them, will bow to them. The era of American imperialism and dominance is over. The earlier Trump realizes it, the better for the world. But what he's doing in competition with China, the whole thing is about competition with China. Where they are getting it wrong is that China is able to radicalize the world with its foreign policy of win-win situation, where China doesn't interfere in countries' domestic affairs. They come to the table with either technology or mutually beneficial proposals. So, for instance, the Chinese aid could be seen all over Africa and wherever they want to go to. If we don't remember anything, we could see Chinese aid in the headquarters of AU that was built in Ethiopia. We're seeing railway connecting Africa. Gone are the days that America will give you aid, neither the money nor development you will see. But the aid will be in paper, and you see billions upon billions are being quoted as debt that these countries are owing to America. Now, the grand fight is to be able to subdue China. And in trying to subdue China and to preserve dollar, in what has preserved dollar over these years is the fact that the sales of crude oil is denominated in United States dollars. So countries are bound to either hold dollar savings or to look for dollar in order to be able to trade internationally, especially in crude and other things. Now, dollar became the medium of exchange globally. And with the rise of China and the rise of countries like Iran, with Russia still holding out, with a strong South Africa that are working towards changing the system. Because one of the things that America and the West generally have been doing is to weaponize initiatives, payment platforms, agreements, frameworks that are supposed to lead to peaceful exchanges across borders and turn them into a weapon of war by using it to sanction. For instance, SWIFT for payment will be turned against South Africa anytime South Africa take a contrary position that Britain does not like, or France does not like, or America does not like. Why should the global payment system that is meant for ease of trading be turned to a weapon of war? So third world countries realizes that the leverage the so-called advanced countries are using to dominate them is to turn benign weapons of trade into weapons of war. And this led to the emergence of BRICS as a counter bloc that is trading using different currencies apart from the US dollar. And BRICS, as you all know, are comprised of countries that are growing, that have taken over almost 60% of shares of world trade. And this is unacceptable as far as the West is concerned, because the West has a sense of entitlement. They feel that they have to dominate everybody, everything must be about them, and they must gain at the expense of others. So as far as they're concerned, the coming of BRICS is seen as a threat to the Western world. And secondly, when Africans and the Chinese were investing to develop, the West was investing in endless wars. They were in Afghanistan simply because they want to control Afghan, because they feel Afghan is strategic to their imperial interest. It is at a crossroad between Asia and Europe. So it's strategic. They have to control it and they have to go to war. They wanted to take over Iraqi oil. They've done that. And then they feel that they can do more. They came to Libya. They destroyed Libya to catch Libya's oil. Now, that is not enough. Now, they are after all the sources where the Chinese are getting their oil from. And that was what led to the ousting of Maduro and the kidnapping of Maduro. I just imagine America that has been shouting on top of its voices that the world must obey the United Nations because it is a rules-based order. Today, it's still the same America that is behaving like a rogue, that is behaving like a bully, and then it is going about kidnapping sitting president. Now they are done. They thought they are done with Venezuela, and Venezuela oil will now flow through America, and then the deals will be done in dollars in order to preserve American hegemony. Now they are focusing on Iran. because, like Venezuela, Iran is another major sources of Chinese oil. So Africa is not left out in this very particular global recalibration by Trump to make America great again. And the thought by making America great again is by changing regimes to install puppet and to reverse the trend towards BRICS and to ensure that all trading or tradings rather are done in the US dollars so that US dollars can continue to dominate and they can continue to export their poverty to all the parts of the world. But again, Greenland has put a dagger through the heart of the conspiracy that has sustained Western civilization. And what do I mean by that? It is a conspiracy normally couched in a very nice diplomatic terms to say the collective interest of the West. Today, Trump is not saying that the European countries should pay for their security. He also said he wants Greenland. And this has set them against each other. This is very particular to latest demand by Trump. And this is why you see Europeans now running helter-skelter to China. I'm sure very soon they will run to Iran because Iran has what they need. Iran has technology that they need. It is more or less like the chicken is coming home to roost. The same conspiracy they use to keep Africa underdeveloped, to kill our leaders, is still the same conspiracy that is unraveling, that is making them to undertake pilgrimage to China. So they can't deny the fact that China has risen. They can't deny the fact that China hold the key to their security, just the same way Russia will be able to assist them.
Well, Dr. Abdulrahman, from MEGA, Make America Great Again, it's Make America Go Away. And the signs are actually very, very strong. But once again, I must say it's an absolute pleasure linking up with you this morning. We thank you for your time. We say Jazakallah khairan and all the best to you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The pleasure is all mine. Thank you very much for having me.
Dr. Abdulrahman Abu Hasimi joining us this morning. And yes, very, very interesting developments that are taking place globally. And really, I think, as Dr. Abdulrahman mentioned, I think Trump is actually doing the world a favor with what we see playing out in the United States of America and the decline of the empire. The signs are actually there. With that, we're going to go for a break. We come back, we'll be joined by Rizwana Samud just to understand the rand strengthening against the dollar, what it means for us here in South Africa.